negotiations going? Like,
what makes you think he's 80 years old? That's the only people
seriously?
they have.
Yeah, okay.
That's what.
I like that's
Excuse me.
insane.
I have
That's
no idea who you're
insane.
referencing there, Sean.
Oh, just a couple of them. I don't
Yeah, a
know.
couple. He goes.
There's a few of those 80-year-olds in the government, but that's totally a different story.
Back to another episode of your favorite couch potatoes. We're ready to get into it, aren't we, Feisty?
Oh man, boy, do we have some good stuff going on. This offseason's been wild, so might as well just give the news out to our viewers so they know what's going on.
Let's get it to him because I know you're super excited about this. Guess what? Dustin Poirier. Remember him? He posted on his Instagram that he's got one more fight in him, buddy. So don't you worry. Dustin Poirier is here to stay.
That fight is against me, baby. I'm ending that career. He done. No, I'm just kidding. That's exciting news to hear. I mean, that just gives me another fight for me to shit on him and for him to do really bad. Hopefully, it's a worthy opponent. That will end up knocking. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I think this will be a good send off for him. Hopefully, it's not gonna we know it's not gonna be any championship belt, but it'll be a good fight to watch because this is gonna be his last fight. And we'll see if he ends up getting beat or knocked out to retire more, if he ends up having a happy ending and have a good one last win to retire. So
yeah. I'm definitely here for it. What a great career. One of the best, I would say, fighters in UFC all time for sure. Whether, he won it or he didn't, he always put out a good show. That's for sure. Dustin Poirier fights are entertaining. So I am excited to see his last fight. I'll definitely be tuning into that one.
You'll definitely catch me right along with you telling him that he's booty cheeks and that he's going to get his cheeks clapped. So... good way to end a good retirement. So, moving on from that loser. Not just kidding. Moving on from Dustin Poirier. Hopefully, he does have a good retirement. I think, like we said, daddy time's catching up to him. So, hopefully, it ends up being a good fight. We'll see who ends up being the lucky person. Reports are coming in. So, NCAA obviously has to be in the news every year. So, there's more than a dozen college athletes that are suing the NCAA over unauthorized NIL use and advertisement.
Hot button for
here we go.
Right here, man.
Here we go. One of those players actually was Mario Chalmers, Sharon Collins. A lot of them were from the 2008 Kansas Jayhawks team, on that national team, that they're kind of accusing the NCAA of running ads and doing partnerships with this company called TSI, and they use their names, images, and all that for promoting basically March Madness. There was a crazy shot actually. It talked about how there's this crazy shot that one of the Jayhawk guys actually ended up hitting towards the end of the game. In that March Madness, and it's been known as one of the greatest shots of all time in college sports. And they use that to advertise basically every year, and they still have not gotten paid for it. So I think this is something that needs to be brought up too. You know me, I've not been the biggest fan of NIL deals, and I've not been the biggest fan of players, the whole image and likeness and all that crap. I'm all for people protecting their own and getting, what they need to get done to get paid. But also, this is college sports, man. What happened? There was a competitiveness that you were going to get paid by getting your schooling paid for. Now, regardless if you took advantage of that or not. But you have freaking Caleb Williams, who was basically making money that 3 NFL second-year players were making just off of INL deals. Now, this story is different just because Mario Chalmers and these guys, that's back in 2008. that's a little ways back, and like the same thing happened to Reggie Bush. He got his stuff taken away because of NIL deal crap. So like this is just another story to go along with NIL deals and how they're ruining college sports. So
Yeah, it's just I don't know. At this point, like we got to figure something out, right? Like
yep,
it's just getting too complicated at this point. There's so much going on. I mean, like you said, 2008.
yep,
That's the team we're talking about, and I get that. NCAA has used a lot of players' name, image, and likeness in the past. I get it,
yeah,
but we're in 2024 now. Sorry that it may have screwed you over, but like let's just move on. I
yeah,
think that's my opinion. Where I guess we're paying college athletes, like we've already had these conversations in
yeah.
depth, about how we feel about that, but just like we're paying them now, that is what it is. So
It is.
when former athletes come back and you've used this or this and this, and it's like I think it's a little bit much in my eyes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and especially how long it's been. Like you look at like I get that that's a commercial that still runs, that's still an advertisement that still runs, but like when did it become such a bad thing to be part of history, especially his sports history? Like I would love to back in my day, freaking I wish I would have ran a sub 4 mile. I would have been like, go
Yeah,
ahead and let people know that I did that. Like it's not really like not being humbled about it, but it's more of like I was part of that history. Like, why would I not
right.
want to be part of that? And like, you're getting your school paid for. Like, there's so many students that money that going to you to all your sports, all your like football is expensive. I get it, it's a full time job, but that's why you're working so hard. So you either do school and you get into a really good career, or you're doing school because it's gonna lead you into a pro sport like life where you're gonna be able to make those $1 million and Mario Chalmers is a great player. Like he did some great things for the Miami Heat. So like it's just so surprising to me when stories like this comes up. Obviously NCAA is like a big monopoly. So I think that they definitely somebody needs to do some investigation on those. I really think that they have too much control and like I get why people are going after them. Good for it, but at the same time, you're part of a corporation that goes deeper than deep. So good luck winning that lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's on that note, let's get into some real sports, some real talk. Let's talk about the hot dog contest, okay? Because I
Dude,
know it was just after the 4th of July, and we already had talked about how Joey Chestnut's not going to, or was not, a part of the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest.
yep,
But I think it's just kind of funny. I mean, this dude is literally on a different level, and I think that's what anybody that knows who Joey Chestnut like knows that he is. But let
yeah.
me just throw out this stat real quick, and then we can get back into real sports. Okay, he ate 57 hot dogs in 5 minutes. Joey Chestnut, that is. The winner of the Nathan's famous hot dog contest, the one that the July 4th, the big one, ate
Yeah,
58 hot dogs in 10 minutes. So, dropped off the face of the mat. It's basically like Daddy Braun retiring, oh,
yeah.
we made it 8 minutes before the Daddy Braun. No, I mean, it is actually, though, like he is on a different level. Like that's kind of
Yep.
crazy. 57 hot dogs in 5 minutes. The winner gets 58 in 10. I mean, Joey Chestnut is unlike anybody else we've seen for sure.
Well, and to do one less hot dog in half the time it took the winner, like that's a goat right there. So I mean, like you said, this isn't gonna be big news sports world, but like it's huge because you know this tradition in America. You know this is a big. Everybody looks forward to this kind of event. So to see him do what he does, it just kind of like makes Nathan's famous hot dog competition look kind of stupid for not having the guy that's made them famous, like that's made that sport. So well, we'll see what happens next year. Maybe they beg him to come back and to make it more entertaining. Maybe they lost a lot of viewership this year. and not a lot of people were interested. So we'll see what happens next 4th of July. So
Hell yeah. Hopefully,
mo-
right?
let's move on back into some real sports and talk about a boxer who's been in the hot seat lately. Ryan Garcia was so the WBC Sports or WBC, that's the World Boxing Federation
Corporation.
Corporation,
There it is.
has expelled Confederation has expelled has expelled. Let's stay away from that word. Has expelled Ryan Garcia for repeatedly using a racial slur while streaming. The racial slur was against black people and Muslims directed. So let me give you a little bit of context of what's been going on. So Ryan got caught with, obviously, people were saying he cheated, PED, taking steroids to help him kind of perform. Before that, he was actually he got felony. He was arrested and had felony vandalism charges last month too. So he was at a Beverly Hills hotel and supposedly he caused an estimate of $15,000 damage in the hotel he was at. So it's just, I feel for him, man. It just seems like he's just going through it. Like it's just coming crashing down on him. There was those videos that came out that he saw some like cult stuff that was going on. He was going crazy, and he was like, "They're gonna ruin my life." They're like, honestly, something's going on. Either he was telling the truth, or he just going like
Yeah.
some Antonio Brown shit. It's like, what's going on with this kid? He's young. He had a great career. He was still going to be doing some great things. And all of a sudden, you have all that stuff that's happening. He's just crashing hard, man. And it's so
I
sad to see it.
Right. I mean, I know you're a big boxing guy and like you've been keeping us updated on this situation, but this was
Yep.
like, yeah, like a how do you even make sense of
Yeah.
what is going on right now? I mean, yeah, I think like sadly, all jokes aside, like CTE, like maybe this guy is just not there anymore. I mean, to
Yep.
jeopardize your career, like you said, he's so young and he's so good. I think that's the thing is he is a dominant boxer, and for him to be expelled from the World Boxing
For a whole
Corporation.
year. Or actually, no. So he was suspended for a whole year. And now to
Mhm.
be completed?
Now he's
Yeah, sorry.
expelled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's sad. That's
Yeah.
really sad to see, but at the same time, like he did it to himself. It wasn't anybody's fault but his, right?
Yeah.
So,
And you look at like the boxing world, right? Like Tank is now on fire. Like you've had some other great people that have come in, like Canelo. Like there's just so many. And then you have the freaking Jake Paul and Logan Paul crap. Like they're trying to
yeah,
get people
yeah,
to like,
yeah.
but that's not real
That's
stuff,
not
right?
real,
Like,
right? Yeah.
but they're just paying people off. But like, and it's sad to see that happen to the sport. And I really think that that's happening. It's more for viewership, but this is a great boxer who had a great career ahead of him, and I was looking forward to that Tank matchup again. And so it's just kind of sad to see it come to an end like it has, and hopefully he gets the help that he needs, and that maybe he can have a rebound and maybe appeal, do some, like what was it when
Sensitivity, like
yeah,
training or whatever
yeah,
kind of a thing. Yeah.
yep, it's like the whole thing with Kanye, right? Like when he had the problem with the Jewish community, like that whole situation. Now it's like, bro, this is a community that's suffering right now, and you're going after them and saying stuff like that. And the things also said in an article, like he's like, it was a joke, it was nothing serious, like I don't want anybody dying, I don't want anybody killed, but like it's like, bro, people are dying out there in the real world fighting for what they believe in, and
Yep.
now you're saying stuff like this. It just does not look good for the World Boxing Corporation, and they don't want nothing part of that. PR was like, all right, let's get this boy out of here. So
Yeah. It's
hopefully, hopefully he gets the help he needs. So it's like I said, that's all we really can do is pray for him and hope that things work out for him. So Let's move on to some exciting news. Like we said, we always have to have something going on with the WNBA. So,
Yes,
first person,
sir.
my girl Angel Reese, another double double.
What's
Homegirl
she
now
up to
stands
now?
at Homegirl now is at 13 consecutive double double and stands alone and is continuing to break this record. And I think she continues to break it. Like that's just an insane
She's
stat.
every
We've talked
game,
about
right?
this. Yeah,
Every
yeah,
game. Yep.
and we've
And
talked
I'll
about
just
this
throw
every
in
night.
one thing to the WNBA news. Like we've talked about it. I think it's been a versus, right? Angel
Yep,
Reese or Caitlin Clark.
yep,
Let's talk about both of them. Caitlin Clark posted the first ever triple double by a rookie in
oof,
WNBA history. She just
oof.
posted that today as we're recording. And I just have to say, like, this is, I think, I don't know, maybe it's still the, first season. They're both rookies, but I
Yep,
feel like this is Bird and Magic. We
magic.
have it.
Yep,
Like they are those freaking people. They're
yeah,
balling the hell out right now. They're breaking records. I mean, like you said, she's still, I think we talked about it last podcast. She was 10 double doubles in Angel Reese. Now she's 13.
yep,
She's probably got 14, 15, 16, on and on and on. Caitlin Clark posts the first triple double. Like, I love to see it, man. And this is the thing. Like, we're talking about them. They're bringing attention to the WNBA. And you know what? I have to give Angel Reese a little bit of credit because I did not expect as much from her. She has 100% proved me wrong,
yep,
balling the hell out. This is the Magic and Bird, but it's not going to be Magic and Bird. It's going to be Reese and Clark. You know what I mean?
yep.
It's going to be their own dynasty, I'll say.
And I
Or
couldn't
not
agree with
dynasty,
you.
but yeah, like dynamic
Yeah,
rivalry.
and the era. Yeah, no,
Yep.
for sure. I couldn't agree with you more. This is an era. This is a rivalry that's just starting. And I love to see it because, like, even Clark to send out some stuff saying that, like, Angel, she would love to play with Angel Reese, like, to be on the same team with her, like, and Angel Reese being selected to the U.S. women's team, like, that's huge too. So, like, they're just both balling out, and like you said, both kind of being competitive they are. They want to be able to bring attention to the sport. And how do you do that? By creating rivalry. Why is LeBron talked about so much? Because he's brought attention to the
Right.
sport. And as an
Yep.
18-year-old, the chosen one, the king, like whatever you want to call it, he was the guy. And now everybody hates him because he's been doing it for 20, 22 years almost. So I'm excited for where the sport's going to go. These two ladies are going to continue to grow, and it's just going to be able to. I know that if I am able to, when I have kids and if they're girls, I know that they have great role models in these two. So I'm excited for what's to happen in this sport and what's happened for these two. So it
I
should
couldn't
be a
agree
great.
with you more, buddy. It's exciting. Like that's the thing, man. I love to see it. Definitely love
Yep.
to see it.
No, for sure. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see what happens. So let's jump right into our NFL section and talk about what's going on in the football world. Big news. I feel like every episode I'm talking about a Patriots news. Patriots extend, and this is our
Wait,
favorite
hold on,
episode
hold on.
brought to you
Yep, there we
by
go. Mm-hmm. Let the
Can
people know.
Vice pronounce that name. So we
Woohoo! All
have
right, go ahead.
they have signed Jaylani Tavi Tavia Tavi
I think
Taviti
it. Yeah, I think that might be right. I think it's. I would say Jelani Tavai.
Tavai. Okay, to a 3-year, 21 million deal. So I can't say his name correctly, but I can tell you that is a great signing, and to keep him for 3 years, let
Oh
the
yeah.
people hear it, Jacobs.
I mean, hey, I'm here for it. I mean, he was a high flyer. Like he was a big part of our defense last year, and I
Yeah,
know our team was shitty, but our defense was still good, as
yeah,
it always is. Under Bill Belichick, obviously now he's gone, but whatever. But this guy was second in the team in tackles, and I don't know if you guys remember, but there was that one big or he was always the guy that was, I don't know, he's a ball hawk. So Jabril Peppers, I remember against the Raiders, he freaking smacked the hell out of Devontae
Yeah,
Adams, popped the
yeah,
ball back into the air, and but Tavai catches it, interception. And he was that kind of guy all year, and he's always around the ball. That's why he's second in the team in tackles. So it's just another signing that we've been talking about. I feel like the last, like you said, we're talking about the Patriots every podcast, and it's because they keep signing back their guys, and I
yep.
love this. I want us to sign another guy
Yeah, I mean,
that
speaking of that, that was a big news. I mean, so the guy you're talking about is Matthew Judon. There was some kind of news going on in Twitter. It always has to start in Twitter. So he responded on Twitter to a fan who wanted him to be extended, and then he responded, "I think that that's gonna happen." So, ooh,
you know what? At least he's honest, and he talks he's open about the situation, because I feel like so many players and everything are not.
yeah,
But yeah, this is not good. I mean, we've signed everybody. Like I've said,
yep,
we signed Stevenson, we signed Barrymore, Tavai, we've signed so many people, and we're probably not going to re-sign Matthew Judon, our best player on the Patriots. I think
yeah.
that's for sure. So I'm definitely depressed about that. He did also tweet out all right, I'm gonna head out. Meme.
No, no, he
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So I mean, we talked about it in the last podcast where he's not gonna hold out, he's gonna play, which I
yeah,
respect
big time.
by him, right? I respect that move, but I feel like it's kind of like what we talk about with the Cowboys, where you know you want CeeDee Lamb, right? You want Micah Parsons. You need those guys to
Yeah,
make your team. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about Matthew Judon. I feel like
yeah,
he is that guy, and I'm glad we've signed so many people. But for us not to sign, or not probably not going to sign Matthew Judon, kind of depresses me for sure.
I mean, what's the reason? Is he just thinking that he can get more money elsewhere, or do you think he's just done with his time as Patriot? Because he's been there,
I think he
killing it.
likes. I think he likes being a Patriot. I think he likes New England, but I don't know, the new regime and everything. I mean, they've been re-signing all their guys, which is
Exactly.
unlike the
Yeah,
old Patriots, right? You just cycle them in and out and sign people for cheap deals. That's what the Patriots, Bill Belichick, has always done. But
yeah.
it's surprising that Matthew Judon is the guy that's left out of all of the guys.
When
I
he's a
don't think
star
it's
player.
because he wants to leave. I think it's because New England doesn't want him, I guess, which doesn't
Wow.
make any sense to me. Because
Uh,
I really do think, I want to give Matthew Judon some credit. I don't think that he wants to leave. I think that he found a home and he found some success in New England. I think it's more on New England, but which makes no sense to me. So
yeah.
none of it makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. It doesn't make sense to me either. I think that this is like the Micah Parson of the defense. He commands the defense. He knows that that's defense runs through him. Why would you not want to keep a player like that? Like that just unless we're in that era where every player, every position has to reset the market, and they can't afford him to reset the market. I think maybe
Yeah,
that may
I
be an
mean,
issue, but I
I
don't think
don't
so.
know. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Because it's not like me, obviously, Big Country always have this argument because he happens to have T.J. Watt, the best defensive player in the league, or was it
no,
Miles
no,
Garrett, or
that's Miles Garrett. I'm
oh,
sure,
okay.
sure of
But
it.
let's just say that TJ Watt is at least the second or third best defensive player. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel like Matthew Judon, when healthy, is definitely a top 100% a top 10 pass rusher, and I
For
would
sure.
argue a top 5, like
Yeah.
when healthy. I don't think he's as dynamic as like a Micah Parsons or TJ Watt, but at the same time, he kind of is that build, right? And that's what we talked about, is that's almost the most important position besides quarterback in the NFL these days,
Yeah.
right? Like you need that pass rusher, you need that guy to disrupt. So I don't really, I really don't understand the move. I can't make sense of it. I guess unless he's going to get more money from another team, but maybe you know what? Maybe the Patriots just need to hold out. Matthew's going to play the next season, and maybe we get him back on a kind of cheap deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen, as we know. So I mean, it's cool. I respect him a lot. I love that he's a weapon. You know me. I'm a big advocate for why are you sitting out? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't do anything for your career. And so, prime example, Le'Veon Bell, when he did it, didn't do anything for him. So, for him to like say I'm gonna play and work through and prove, I think he's gonna be proving himself this year that he's gonna be worth that money that some team will end up giving him if the Patriots don't want him. So we'll just have to keep this story kind of updated to see how it goes because that's a big player that you can't afford to lose, and that's a big position you can't afford to backfill. So
I
yeah,
100% agree with you on there. Well, then moving on to some other news. I know we had to give it to you. All right, we're gonna get some Oregon news in here for you.
yes,
We'll start with the good news because unfortunately there was a lot that happened with Oregon this past week. But the good news is you did land the number one wide receiver in the country, DeCarrion Moore, and it's a big pickup. I mean, he picked Oregon over schools like Texas, Bama, all that kind of stuff. So maybe you're right, buddy. Maybe Oregon's here to play. Maybe those NCAA rankings were kind of accurate after all.
dude, I couldn't be more excited. I think us moving to the Big Ten, or no, you guys moved to the
Yes,
Big Ten. We moved to the
Big
Big.
Ten.
You guys
No,
moved to
we're
the
Big
Big Ten.
12.
Oh, Big
You're
12.
Big
Okay,
10.
yeah, Big 10.
There
So us
you
moving to the Big 10 has been a huge. It's weird because like I'm Pac 12, bro. Please come back.
It is
But
sad, dude.
it is so weird like not being able to talk about the Pac 12. But like this is huge. We already had like the top five. So we had two players in the top five receivers in this year's supposedly going to be this year's draft. So now to add on another number one nation, like that's huge. So I'm excited for more. I think that us moving to the Big Ten has been huge. We've been able to compete, and we've had a great recruiting class. This has been the best recruiting class in a long time. And then they're here, like you said, they're here to play, man. They're not backing down anymore. That Mariota days where he took them to the big old chip, like I was so excited for it. That was a team that could compete, and now I feel like we can compete. It's gonna be tough, like we've said. Ohio State, we can compete with, depending on how their team is. Michigan, that's a different animal. Like if we can get through Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, the rest of the field is kind of like like a 50-50. It can go either way, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. I think this is a huge another big recruitment for them. And I don't know what's going on over there, but something about the green and like not having to pay sales tax is bringing people over there. So let's go Ducks. Like this is exciting, man. I couldn't be more happy for my Ducks, and I'm looking forward to what they do this next, like not even just this season, but the next few seasons. Because like we talked about last week too, Wesley was mentioning how the playoff system is changed, and now more teams have more opportunities. So
Right.
Oregon might be pushing on that, man, because now you don't have to worry about the top four teams. You can make it in and be the top 12 teams. So like, and sometimes we have those upsets. We've seen it in March Madness where those top teams fall to like the number one or number two, and where they're doing a bracket system. I think that's going to be so much better. I'm so happy that they did that. So yeah. I mean, I could go on forever, but I'm gonna have to leave
Yeah,
Cowboys.
I could tell, man. You love your Oregon Ducks, that's for sure. Yeah, good for you guys. I mean, shit, the way you guys are like the track that you're on right now, I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad that we're not in the same conference with you guys anymore. Because man, I swear it was basically either the Utes, Oregon, or USC in that
Yep.
Pac-12. So Oregon looking good, man, looking good, and with Michigan maybe on the down low, dude. Obviously, Ohio State's going to be there, and
Yeah.
Michigan's still going to be good. Penn State's going to be good, but I think Oregon, obviously, and still they got you guys got Dylan Gabriel and everything. Like you guys are looking on the right track, and you keep making good moves. So
Yeah. It's
definitely on the up for Oregon, and I'm
Yeah,
glad
it's
you're not in the Big
definitely like
12.
a good. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good kind of competition. Maybe this year doesn't turn out the way we want it to, but like test the water, see what you guys can
Yep.
do, and this would be a good learning year. So I'm excited for it. It's great news to hear. Something that's not so great news. This past weekend, there was a former um, Oregon player, Vikings 2024 fourth overall pick, um, Oregon cornerback Kyrie Jackson, was killed in a car accident last week. This was with him and his high school football teammates Isaiah Hazel, Anthony Bloom Jr. They all uh, fortunately passed away in the car accident. This is something that you never want to hear. It's just so sad to hear when young athletes, former or not former, like they mean so much for that school. And to hear that this is something that's happened, I know it affects the Duck Nation, and I know that it affects Vikings. And prayers out to his family, prayers out to his friends, loved ones, everyone, and please be safe, man. These roads are crazy. There hasn't been a whole lot of what happened, but like we're all human beings at the end of the day. You know, we're all part of this life, this journey of trying to continue to be better. And whether you're an athlete, celebrity, movie star, whatever, we're all gonna have to drive on a road, and we're all gonna have to go through this journey. And so please be safe, man. This is sad to hear as a Doug fan and also just as a football fan.
Vice, I could not have said it better myself. That was honestly beautifully put. It is a sad, scenario, and I know we never like to talk about this stuff, but we want to just let the people know and stuff because, and I really do appreciate you bringing up his high school football teammates' names and stuff, because they deserve to at least be talked about and remembered and everything. It's just sad. I know we don't have too many details on what happened. Doesn't matter but it doesn't really matter. Like it's sad, and
The life is lost for sure.
yeah, it's never good. So I'm just gonna end this segment on here. We're gonna get on into the NBA after this break. So thank you, Fies, for that. That was beautifully put. And yeah, I guess we'll check you guys on the other side. We are ready to get into some NBA, boys. Sean, welcome in, baby. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me again.
Hell yeah. Feist, you ready to get into this?
It's been too long. We need another opinion here. Sometimes we gotta get into it, so it's good to have a middleman in between us. Let's go, baby.
Heck
Especially
yeah.
when you look like a douche.
Oh, sorry, I forgot entrances. Oh,
There we go.
more sophisticated.
Nah, just
Vice
kidding,
back.
man. What you got for us?
Hey, let's just start it off, man. We've been going off the last episodes. You guys know we were kind of going through the whole NBA bomb shelter that happened. So let's start out with another bomb shelter with the Magic making some moves. They signed Franz Wagner to an extension, 5 year, $224 million max rookie contract extension. So my boy got money Manziel.
He got paid. Holy shit. I mean, I knew the dude could ball, but I was not expecting a $224 million contract.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, but you know what? The Magic obviously were better than they have been for a long time, and he was a big piece of it, so they clearly believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, that number is crazy. I can't believe how much he got paid. That's nice, but he's young. He's been a huge
Yep.
contributor. Um, I don't blame him. He's kind of like their number 2 guy behind Banchero, but
Has
hey,
Banchero gotten paid yet?
I think he
Besides
got
his
one
rookie
last
deal?
year.
did he
Or
get
maybe
paid?
this year he's supposed to. So I think they're trying to secure that, like those young rookies that they have and keep that core together. Especially Banjero's just been balling
Okay.
out. I actually don't like him. I don't know why. I think he's kind of overhyped. I'm that guy. I will be that guy. I'm sorry. But I don't know what it is. All of a sudden, I just really don't like him. But he's a baller. And now, Wagner just getting his.
I
Like,
was gonna say,
they
dude's a
obviously
baller.
believe in
What
that
has
kid.
he done?
I have no idea, bro. I literally think he's overhyped. Maybe it was because 2K I
Just
had
don't
to
like
like
him.
match up against him. I just don't like him.
That's
So,
funny.
but that's good for them,
They did
man. They're
make
just
another
keeping their
signing
magic
too.
alive.
Yeah. Well, wow. Good pun there. Good
Yeah,
pun on
I wish I had.
that.
Some bits coming in
They
two
did
weeks,
also
baby.
sign Jonathan Isaac. 5-year, $84 million. So not as much
Okay.
money, but Jonathan Isaac, I know, was a big part of especially the Magic's run. I remember him back in like the COVID days and stuff. He was a big part of their team, and yeah, they lock him down for another 5 years. So got a little more magic left in him. Some might
Yeah,
say.
there you go. Keep that going, baby. I like it. I think this is another excellent like core magic that they're trying to preserve. This is good. So Isaac, I think that
We can only
he.
talk about the Magic for the rest of the podcast because of these puns. It's just
I got the magic in me. I'm just kidding.
there you go.
Um, but I'm excited for this young core, man. This should be like they're just trying to keep that together. You guys know me. I'm all about system working, and the same thing. You know how the OKC did it. I believe the Jazz were gonna do it with all their draft picks. Keeping that core together
Hopefully.
and keeping that young core together is super important. So, oh,
I love it.
No, I like it, and I think that yeah, you make. I'm a hometown guy right now. I'm living in Orlando, so I've got a really good grasp on what's happening down here. No, but seriously, like they're making some moves. They're young. I think that they've got a great chance to like secure some of these guys with these long contracts that they're doing, and yeah, see where it takes them. First time they've been relevant in a while. So
For sure. Like since like the White Howard days, honestly. Like let's be honest. Like since
honestly,
Yeah.
Superman
Yeah.
days and like who knew the Magic were gonna be? I think the last like 3 or 4 years, the first round picks that they've had have all kind of been a bust. And so like you're right. Like big point to that, Sean. How like they are relevant again. Like that fourth, fifth seed is always super important because it can be one of the most competitive games. And so who knows what happens? Maybe the East just sucks, and they kind of had. No, just kidding. I had to. I had
Besides
to. I was
Boston.
hyping up too much. So, but now I'm excited for them.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
see what happens with that franchise. And moving on, let's talk about some sad news.
Why do you
Kimball.
always bring up the sad stuff, dude?
I'm sorry, man.
He's a
I'm that sad
guy.
guy too. I'm suicidal. I got music in me
Hey,
today,
whoa, whoa,
boys.
whoa, whoa.
I just kidding.
Hey.
And shout out to Juice World. Anyway, so Kimball Walker is officially retiring from NBA after 12 season. He was playing overseas a little bit. And then the cool thing actually that happened, like it's kind of sad news, but also exciting news that he was able to sign as a player enhancement coach for the Charlotte Hornets. So that was kind of cool to see that they still want him around. I think he's going to be an amazing like somebody that can help develop young guys. So sad, but also kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I mean, I feel like Kemba Walker was one of the first stars, or at least early draft picks that I feel like the three of us especially started to watch, like when
Yep.
we got into the NBA, and just kind of shows how old we are now. Like 12 seasons, and I think he had a great career. Like
Yep.
it definitely didn't turn out the way he probably wanted to. But I do see like Boston Celtics fans like thanking him for what he
Yep.
did in Boston. And I'm like, that says something because obviously Drew Holiday is a better, point guard than Kemba is. I think even Marcus Smart was better. But Kemba had a good season or a good career and 12 seasons in the NBA. That's pretty damn impressive. So it is sad to see him go. I'm glad that he's going to stay in the NBA and become a coach. And who knows, maybe he becomes the next JJ Redick in a few years.
It's true. And I think sometimes people start to expect everyone's going to have like a 20-year career. 12 years is great, and he was super good for a lot of those 12 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely sad to see him go. We would love to see more of him, but definitely not. It's not really that sad when he went out probably the way that he would like to. Like, still totally respected as a player and a high level player his entire career. So.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's a
I
great point.
totally agree with you guys both. Like I remember Kemba Walker just having that killer instinct of like dude, drive up to you, boom, 3-pointer shot right in your face. Like it didn't even matter. It almost like I felt like he was taller Isaiah Thomas. I don't know if you guys remember that Isaiah Thomas run in
Honestly,
Celtics. Like it just they had like the
Yeah.
same similar play style. So like
a
it's kind of sad
bucket.
to see it, but like at this point, we know that all the players that we were watching growing up were starting to come to an end, except one guy, and I'm not gonna mention him yet. I'm not
All
gonna
right,
say
well, we made
it.
it like 8 minutes. All right, cool, 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 cool.
No, not yet. We'll save that one for later. But it's exciting news, and like even to like add on to like the Hornets are trying to build this like franchise that they want to be successful. Lamelo Ball was if he can stay healthy, he is a freaking great player. And now they
Mhm.
just locked down another player. Like they've locked out Mikal Bridges to a 3-year, $75 million deal.
Ooh, Sean, how do you feel about that? I know the Jazz were rumored to get this guy. Are you happy, sad, mad,
They can have
indifferent to
him.
this? You don't
They,
care?
they can have him.
he said,
He's
"I'm done
got
with him."
he's got too much of a like. That's a pretty controversial guy right there. I mean, we don't need that in Utah. Jeez,
Have
but
enough
yeah,
of
That
that
already.
already.
he. But yeah, let's be real. He's a good player. He is a good player,
Yeah.
but and it makes sense why they would try and keep him around, I guess. But
Hey, 3 year, $75 million deal is kind of like that's not like a cheap like
yeah,
we'll give you another chance deal. That's a legit like contract. So I
Investment.
I think that says the Hornets are like, okay, well, we'll stick with him. Like, and I think
yeah,
the thing is too, he was a lot. I feel like more important. Like I think Sean, I remember talking to you about him being the best player on the Hornets when LaMelo Ball was there. Like
Well,
in
yeah.
yeah,
LaMelo Ball's rookie year, it was like I
yeah.
think he's the best guy, but I mean, obviously, all the stuff that like you're talking about that he has going on. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of good if he can, keep everything clean
Hmm.
and just stick to basketball. I think it's a good signing for the Hornets for sure.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think it makes sense with. I mean, Lamelo is obviously really good, and they kind of have a little bit of chemistry there at this point. So maybe with the new coach over there, or enhancement coach or whatever they're calling him, maybe
Yeah.
maybe everything will come together in Charlotte.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's move to the Minnesota Jazz. Oh, sorry, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They might as well be called the Utah Jazz. That's why I wore the Joe Ingles jersey
Oh heck yeah!
today. They signed Joe Ingles to a 1-year deal. I mean, makes me like the Timberwolves even more. I don't know if it's like a sad thing or a good thing or what, but like, goddamn, all our good players are now playing in Minnesota.
It must be the Minnesota must be the retirement spot for. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, it's seriously so weird that they just keep going after all these Jazz players. So it makes you wonder who's next. So, and I like Joe. I've always been a big fan. I think I like him when he's just getting into people's heads. Like that's the only player that I can actually tolerate doing that. Like I can't tolerate what's his name, Donkey Face, Draymond Green. I can't tolerate it when what's his name, the Oregon guy.
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I can never stand him. But then Joe Ingles just does it in a way like he's not. He wants to get in your head, but it's almost like you can laugh about it. And so like
The GOAT at that.
he's freaking
GOAT.
yeah, he's just funny with it. So I mean, it's just another good signing from Minnesota. They're just trying to rebuild that and trying to get more ammo for what they're about to do this next season. Like this was a testing water season. Man, this next season might just be the season for them to pop off. So we'll see what happens. But another good signing for them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point about him being like one of the best trash talkers. I bet Feist remembers this. I think it was Paul George on
Yeah.
OKC.
Yeah.
I think Joe Ingles totally stunned him. He had him.
I wasn't gonna bring it up. Okay? I wasn't gonna bring it up.
But yeah, but the thing is that yeah, again, I mean, he's just like hilarious. He's a dad out there almost, and I think
Yep.
that is a big part of the reason Minnesota kind of wants him there. It might kind of, I think, it's a chemistry thing.
Yep.
A bunch of guys that already know him, and I think it makes sense for them. They're in a spot that they need just a few tweaks, and they're competing. So,
Bro, the trash talk between him and Anthony Edwards.
oh yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm ready for that. Can you imagine?
that was like one of the first things I was thinking
stand
about.
a chance. He wouldn't stand a
True.
chance.
And you mentioned Paul George, the homie hopper. He literally just goes from. I saw this thing. I just have to say it out loud real quick. I saw this thing that said Paul George is literally a homie hopper. So he goes to a team. He goes to who was it? The Pacers. He's like, I want to bring. I saw this post. He's like, I want to bring one home here. And then he goes to OKC. He goes, oh, I want to. This is where I want to be for long term. And then he goes to the Clippers, and it's always like 3-year, 4-year, like these big old contracts, right? And then he goes to this big now he's going to the 76ers for another big contract, and the rumors is, oh, this is it. This is the one where we bring it home. I'm like, dude, Paul George is a homie hopper. Joe Ingles is not. Joe Ingles is a loyal, like you said, father guy. I like that. I like that matchup, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens now that they're going to be able to match up more. And I like Minnesota just because I like Anthony Edwards. I know Kyle's a big fan of Ant-Man, and so this is just like a bit more ammo for them to use, like I said. So, and also F Paul George.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
He's a good player. That's why he keeps on getting those contracts. But wow, is he good at saying, this is the place, we're going to stay here, and then 3 months later, it's like...
Not like it anymore.
All right, well, hey, all right, let's rein it back in, boys. Let's rein it back in. Okay, enough of the Paul George talk. We did talk about it last time. Donovan Mitchell, official. He signs a 3-year, $150 million extension, with that third year being a player option with the Cavs. So he stays with the Cavs, like we were talking about. Kenny Atkinson felt good about the extension.
Yeah,
Price, I think we're probably like on point where that's the coach that Donovan wanted, I would assume.
Yep.
So yeah, Cavs are keeping Donovan Mitchell, so they're going to roll that back. Obviously, he's their number one guy, so I think they got the rest of their guys figured out. But keep Donovan. That was definitely, like we said, now Cavs fans can breathe. That's your guy. You kept him. So good to go now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still trying to deal with Garland and just figure out if he fits into the piece, and then also Jared Allen. Like they're still trying to figure out what to do with him. But you're right. Like we said, Donovan was the guy. He basically chose this head coach, and this head coach believes in him, and so it's just kind of funny that like he's into what his 5th year, right? Is that it? 5th year, fifth.
The
Donovan. Yeah, how long
with
has
the
he been in the NBA?
Cavs?
He's pushing
No,
like 7 years total, I think. 6 or
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I mean,
Sorry.
it's cool to see that like at this stage he's already getting a player option. Like, not a lot of players get that option, and so like respect to him. Like he's earned that. He's shown that he's not just a star now. He's a superstar, and he commands that respect. So like, and I've always liked Donovan. I hated to see him leave. I think that they should have just traded Gobert and kept Donovan and built him around. And I think him and Laurie would have worked really well because Laurie can actually shoot the three, and that pick and roll would have worked really well. So like, it sucked to see him leave, but like now he's Donovan Mitchell, so he's
Why
freaking
did you
killing
have to
it.
just like depress the fuck out of us Jazz fans, buddy? That
I
was
just
didn't need
I didn't
that.
appreciate that at all.
sorry, I'll take that one back. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
But
it's fine.
it's all
I've only
true.
heard it a million times.
Yeah. You know who would be perfect with Lowry? Donovan.
Well, I
We
mean,
should
to
have
be
started
fair,
being
Donovan
traded
going to
for.
yeah, it's the same trade, right?
Thanks, Vice. Thank you very much. Okay, I get that the OKC Thunder were the 1 seed for a year. Okay,
Whoa!
Jazz have been there.
Whoa!
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa! For 1 year, what are you saying? They're going to be there next year, and the year after that one, the one after that one.
They might be.
Okay.
They might be, actually.
They don't pick the Jazz route because
At the bottom year after year? Or no, sorry, 10th seed. Not quite the bottom, but yeah, I'm happy for Donovan, you know. I think it wasn't necessarily his decision to leave. It was kind of a weird situation. I don't have ill will towards him or anything. And I'm happy to see him continue to be that guy and continue to get better too. So it's really cool that, I mean, I think the Cavs need to figure out their roster. They should be better than they are. I'm going to keep it real. You made a great point, Vice. Darius Garland and Donovan are kind of like, they play similar games and they're having issues with figuring out how that works. And then they've got Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley playing the same game.
Yep.
So they've got all these good players that they've accumulated, but there's not quite. I don't think they've got the chemistry that they need on that team.
And diversity too. They don't have the diversity of like players to like.
That's true.
It's almost like you have too much of the same thing on the same roster. So like
they're all good.
But they are. No.
Yeah.
And I give big ups to them. Like that's a good squad, especially they're still kind of young too. So, but when you have so many of the same players, that's why the OKC with Carmelo Anthony and Paul George and Westbrook didn't work out because it was. I told Kyle this so many times. It was give the ball to one of the stars, get out of the way. They didn't call any plays. I don't know. Like if you remember how mad I was. Because I was like, this should have worked. This should have, like, it's always been like OKC should have worked with how many superstars they've had, but it never worked because there was too many of the same players on the team. It was killers and scorers, not enough like playmakers. It was same. So I hope they don't end up turning that way. But this is a big signing for them, and I think this is just the start of what they're about to do the next 5 years, you know. So
I think it gives them at least 2 years to start figuring it out while Donovan's under contract.
Yep.
And I mean, if they don't proceed to get like any better or make any moves, I feel like that 3rd year where his player option comes into play might be a little scary for them. But it's cool to see Donovan kind of stay loyal to him, give him a chance. They've got something. They got something cooking over there.
Hell yeah, they do.
No, for sure. And that 3rd year, let's talk about a player that always has a player options. Moving on. So LeBron James, the king, Daddy Bron. I don't know what else I could say. Oh, the chosen one, the greatest of all time. My favorite player of any sports.
Vice is hot button there.
So
now we're talking about the hot button.
Yep. So LeBron James has agreed to a 2-year, For $104 million max extension, which uh, that's a big payday.
Yeah,
You know.
I'd say so. I would say
He's,
so. And only
he might be used
LeBron
to
could
that.
get that, in year freaking 37 or whatever it is for him.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously, I know the second year is a player option. So it's basically going to be the same deal as
Yep.
this season. So I'm sure he'll decline it, be a free agent. We'll have this, song and dance next year. But yeah, I did hear though that he is going to take a hear me out here, $3 million pay cut. So
Which equals to what?
who
Zero
who
dollars
can
for
you
him.
afford? Who can you afford?
$6 million in the
Three
next 2 years.
million dollars.
Hey, you can afford me. I'll be Daddy Bron's water boy, towel boy, whatever, assistant, whatever you need. I just don't even give me $3 million. Just give me nothing. I'll just do it for free. Oh man, sorry, excited.
I can tell.
No, I think this is incredible news too because like he also has in his contract a no trade clause, which the only other player to have this in the league is good old man Bradley Beal. So like that just shows,
Really?
yeah, that just shows that like they're committed to him. They picked Bronny for him for a reason. I think he probably honestly to God like I think he has maybe 2 or 3 more years. So this is the first year we figure out where he's gonna be, and with Bronny, like we talked about, we'll get to it later. But with him signing his contract, it's like it's gonna be year to year where we're gonna be like, where's LeBron at? What is he doing? I think he's still gonna be what the numbers he's putting up right now. I think he can still put up another year or two, but that's gonna decline quick. So
Yeah. I mean, Kyle, you said it. It's insane that he's getting paid like that at this point.
yep,
20 something years.
Yep.
Jeez. I mean, that's sick. But I think it makes sense that they're not doing very long contracts with him though, because then I mean he can make that decision at the end of the season of do I want to do something else? Do I want to retire? It kind of because he who knows what can happen. He's like so deep into his career. It's insane. So
yeah, yeah.
it's cool. I mean, he deserves that kind of respect from any organization at this point. So it's cool that they're working with them and drafting his son for him, and
Oh wait! Whoa!
sorry, sorry.
Now, speaking of his son, Bronny, Bronny James, like we talked about, got picked by the Lakers just because of his pure talent and skill and what he brings to the game. Of course, had
Yeah.
nothing to. Just so happened that his dad plays for the same team, but
Just so happens.
Coincidence.
just so happens he got signed. He's already guaranteed 4 years, $7.9 million contract. So nothing crazy, but he has a guaranteed roster spot for the Lakers.
Wow,
Like less than a week or two after the draft.
that is nuts. Like especially for it being a second round pick, like to somebody's pulling. Okay. He has a great agent. I will say that.
Who?
Nothing to do with his dad.
Who is his agent?
Rich Paul. Great guy, great businessman. He knows what he's doing.
He so happens to be the agent for LeBron too, huh?
Shit.
A bunch of
That's
geniuses.
so crazy. How does that even happen?
So I mean, it has nothing to do with LeBron, if that's what you're
Okay.
assuming here.
No, not at all.
No, it definitely does. I think we all knew that. Like LeBron had a big effect on what Bronny does. I've always been like the guy to say it's going to be tough for Bronny because he's the next one after to his dad to build that legacy and continue that to continue building that legacy. So it's just hard for me to think that a second round player has already like signed a contract. I don't think anybody else has signed it, even the first round picks, and the first overall pick. So he's gonna have some power that nobody else does because of his dad. And I think once LeBron retires and ends up getting a team, then obviously that's going to be a big thing. He's going to start making those trades for Bronny, and that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I get it. His name is LeBron James Jr. I mean, and then his dad is also the best player probably to ever touch the court so far.
Say that again. Say that again.
I'm not surprised that this is all happening, but dude, him instantly getting paid $8 million is crazy.
Sir. I like this guy. Yes, sir. Say that one more time. Best player.
All right, I'm gonna take it back. Actually,
My schedule is a little too excited right now. Just a little bit.
But for a guy who went, he was like, there's no reason for him to get paid yet. So, if anything, that's more of pressure. like a weird pressure thing, a nepotism conversation, all of that kind of stuff. When in reality, they could have just chilled. That he got drafted. It's not crazy to think that he got drafted. He was okay as a college player, but it's just it does feel weird when they have a really good player that they picked in the first round with Dalton and Knet. He's not getting a deal yet.
Draft that a lot of people are saying. Yeah.
Right, exactly. He's not getting a deal yet. It's not necessarily a problem. I mean, it's not going to change the trajectory of the Lakers, probably even. So
for sure.
It's just an interesting little dynamic. It hasn't been done in the NBA before, so.
Well, that's what we talked about, right, Feist? Like you know what? The fact of the matter is, LeBron James is going to play on the same team with his son. That's how insane his career is. So it's good I think it's good for LeBron. We've already talked about Bronny. Maybe not the right decision for him.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, but
only time will tell, right?
The only thing that he kind of chose was the number. He chose number 9. But it's almost like, people saying right now, they're like, it's just 6 backwards. And they're already starting that comparison. And I actually was thinking that he was going to do that. He's going to pick 6. But I think Bronny is trying to, make way and do his own thing. Like Bronny said, playing with his dad wasn't a factor. It wasn't a factor of him going into the draft.
Okay.
But let's all be honest. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, didn't he say he picked 9 because he was such a big Juice WRLD fan? Were you singing Juice WRLD earlier?
I have no idea. I've not heard that. So I mean, that's even.
No, I'm pretty sure he said it himself. Actually,
that's cool.
I mean,
did he really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's. Yeah. So I mean, hey, that's cool, I guess.
Shout out to Juice WRLD, baby.
Well, hey, I know JJ Redick has insisted that they did not pick Bronny because he was LeBron's son. He earned it, is what they say. He earned it. Okay, he's a hard worker. He shows dedication. He has skill. Is what JJ Redick said. So obviously, no other NBA player at pick 55 had any of that, so they had to go for Bronny. Had to.
That's right.
I mean, we already talked about freaking what was it? Rich Paul that said, "Don't draft Bronny or he's going to Australia."
Overseas.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, Rich.
You did make that joke last week.
Don't worry.
You did make that joke last week. I think it's just. I think he does work. I don't know if he works hard because I haven't seen his work. But I think he is dedicated, and I think he does have the skill to play. But how many times have we seen a first-round pick go freaking be a bust? I'm trying to even think of some players.
He's a second-round pick, just so you know.
That's what I'm saying is he is a second-round pick. First-round picks are all usually a bust.
I was just giving you shit. You're actually making a good point. Sorry, I interrupted by giving you shit. Continue.
No, you're good. I got too hyped about LeBron, so I deserve it. But like, it's just that point where you're like, how many players have been a bust in the first round? They're even the first overall pick. So like, to think that like the second round pick, 55th overall pick, like, is commanding this much like attention, this much respect. Like, he just played his first game, like last night over the summer league, and he had 4 points. He was making some good plays.
Oh
He was
boy,
dropping 4 points in college
But
too.
ESPN made so many freaking highlight reels of the
4 points.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe if anyone else in that game scored 4 points like he did, then they would have
Yeah.
got all those votes.
So the attention's gonna be there for him no matter what he does. He could literally freaking double dribble, and they'll be like, "Did you see the way he double
Dude,
dribbled?"
Feist,
Like,
yeah, on a serious note, I feel like we talked about it. Like, I feel like it's unfair to Bronny. Like,
yep.
as an individual, like, this kind of sucks. Like, I don't understand, because he definitely could have benefited from another year in college, overseas, whatever it may have been, right? I
Yeah.
just hate it for Bronny. Like, I feel like, and now he's going to be in the spotlight no matter what. Like,
Yep.
that's what ESPN made,
Forever.
4 or 5 highlights about his summer league debut, and he had 4
Yeah.
points. Like, there wasn't really much to talk about, but
Right.
he's got all this attention on him.
And it's gonna continue to just pour down on him. So I mean, either make it or break. So maybe he will be playing in Australia in a couple years.
Church ball.
But the thing that's like nice though is that like now that they've got a whole new system, like they got a whole new coach, they're adding on some great coaches in this system too. So I know we talked about before, JJ Redick wanted Rajon Rondo. I don't know if that's been confirmed or anything, but something that is confirmed is that they have added Scott Brooks and also Nate McMillan.
Yep.
McMillan
He got it.
to the staff. So I know you guys know Scott Brooks, but Scott Brooks was a freaking amazing coach for the OKC. I mean, I never understood why he got fired, and like because he was still developing those team that he had, and I think he was still trying to like I myself as an OKC fan, I was still trying to figure out why he got let go of. I think he's a great head coach, and now he's going to be helping JJ Redick on his staff. Like that's a great mind to have on your staff. So hopefully, with between JJ Redick and Scott Brooks and Nate and all these guys that he's wanting to bring in, hopefully he can get Rajon Rondo. I think that would be very helpful, just because he also has a great basketball mind. Like this staff could do something serious. So I mean, we'll just have to see how it ends up going. But
to have 3 head coaches or former head coaches total on your
yeah,
staff, including JJ Redick, is definitely awesome. And like you said, Scott Brooks, I feel like is a definite guy. Like he
yep,
knows what he's doing. So I think that's good for the Lakers. That's good to have as an assistant for sure. And Nate
yep.
McMillan as well, like you're saying.
Mhm.
So I like that move for the Lakers. I think it's smart.
Yeah. I'm excited for JJ Redick. I like JJ a lot, so I think he's making good decisions with who to hire. So it'll be interesting how it goes this season. He's got one season to prove it, or else he's getting fired by the Lakers.
Yeah,
So
I give him 2.
literally, that's what we talk about all the time. How short it is, but
yeah, I mean, hopefully, it seems promising. They're shaking things up.
Hell yeah. Well, that's enough Lakers talk, okay? Feist, you're done.
Thank God.
You're done.
Oh,
You're done. Okay.
Let me put it off. Let me put it away.
let's go up north and let's talk about the Sacramento Kings, because they just freaking made a move and signed DeMar DeRozan to a 3-year, $74 million deal, which ended up being a sign and trade, because that's like a huge thing with the NBA nowadays. Sends Harrison Barnes to the Spurs with like another player and second round picks, cash, all that. But basically, what you need to know is DeMar DeRozan going to be a part of the Sacramento Kings next year. How do you guys feel about that?
I like it. I mean, I was hoping he'd. I said I was done, but I have to put this in there. But I was hoping he would have went to the Lakers, just like any other free
God,
agent.
freaking
Oh no,
damn
I'm
it!
sorry. But he would have been a good fit. Like I think he would have been a good fit no matter where he goes. And I think this is even a better fit just because they have freaking De'Aaron Fox, and now having DeMar DeRozan. I think that's a great combo to have because De'Aaron Fox is a great playmaker, freaking fast with the ball. Just like I've always said, he's a younger Westbrook, and he's thriving right now. And so like it's good to see that. And like DeMar DeRozan also is a scorer, and he could get his buckets. And so like I think this is going to be a great duo to have. Like it's going to be another Kyrie and Luka kind of duo. Now, whether it works or not, I think that's going to be a little bit different. And I'm excited for it. So let like yeah, just a good opportunity for the Kings, that's for sure.
It makes them. It definitely makes them better. Um, I mean, they lose Harrison Barnes, who he's a solid player,
Yeah.
but not a DeMar DeRozan player. And then we haven't quite mentioned him yet, but Sabonis as well on that team. The Kings
Yep.
they've got some scorers. They've got an all around center that kind of
Yep.
plays um, a modern center kind of a position of being able to kind of pass and do a little bit of everything. Um, Kings are going to be good. They were already kind of on the up and up. This past year seemed like a bit of a disappointment for them
Yeah, it was kind of
after a
weird.
good
They just
season.
they just kind of dropped off this season. Like
Yeah,
they were supposed to be good, but they
and I
just
wonder,
kind of weren't.
were there some injuries in there? It might have been like injury related. It might have just. I really don't know what happened over there. Who keeps up with the Kings? But I think DeMar DeRozan makes more people keep up with the Kings,
Yep.
so that'll be good for
Right.
them. But yeah,
And then
I think the West in general has got significantly better across the
better.
board this
It
offseason, huh?
every
That's
Oh
year.
yeah.
it's going to be competitive. I mean, the Kings are going to probably with DeMar be able to get back into the playoffs, you would think,
Oh
but
yeah, I would think so. Yeah, right.
they've got a lot of competition if we're going to be completely honest. It's tight over there in the West.
What's that saying? The richer get richer and the poor get poorer. I feel like it's something similar to that, but
Mhm.
The West gets better, and the East kind of stays stagnant a little bit. So like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see. And I like there's reports coming in that they're also heavily pursuing Brandon Ingram. So boys, they're not done yet. So they're trying to make moves. They're ready. They're like, we want to win now. I saw a post actually that Harrison put in, and just to thank the fans and everything, how loyal they are. So like Sacramento wants to be the team in California that is going to be dominating. They want to outdo the Warriors, and now the Warriors dynasty is kind of broken. This is a good opportunity for them to jump in and be like, we are the team in California to look for. So I'm more than excited for this. I think it's going to be a great combo to have, and they're just going to do some damage. So, and like I said, I'm not done yet.
Yeah. And speaking of California teams, like we talked about, the Warriors, they lost Klay Thompson, right? And we already talked about he had a, what was it, 3 year, 50 something $1 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
And just wanted to update that because this is kind of crazy. The first ever 6 team sign and trade deal
Yikes!
for Klay. So
Yikes!
that's kind of like like that's why you remember us talking about Reggie Jackson and we didn't understand why, like what they got traded for or what he
Yeah,
got traded for.
yeah.
Let me break it down for you. So the Mavericks get Klay Thompson and a 2025 second round pick.
Not wrong.
Minnesota is part of this trade. They get a 2031 second round pick swap, a 2025 second round pick, and cash. The
Doesn't make sense, but
Warriors,
check.
okay, but hear me out. The Warriors get Kyle Anderson on a 3 year, $27 million deal, part of the
Okay.
sign and trade, and Buddy Hield, which also got a 2 year, $21 million deal. And then the Nuggets, the long awaited answer, get cash.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
So
Somebody wanted Klay Thompson to be traded to the Mavs to get 6 teams on the same page. That's insane to me, dude. Like you can't even get 2 teams on the same page for draft swaps for like when draft night is there. To get 6 teams on the same page to say we want to get this player here, what do we got to do? And to throw in picks like freaking 2031 and also some cash compensations, like it didn't make sense to me. But somebody wanted freaking Clay. That's what I'm just coming down to. The Illuminati spoke, and they wanted
did.
Clay there.
And I didn't even finish. I'm so sorry. The Hornets. I have more.
Oh wow!
Ready? I have more. The Hornets got Josh Green, Reggie Jackson, as we talked about before.
Okay.
A 2029 second round pick and a 2030 second round pick. And then get this, the kicker of it all. The 76ers get a 2031 second round pick in the deal.
That's crazy.
Who won that trade? I want you guys to tell me.
I just want to know who orchestrated that deal because they deserve a raise. Okay,
Dude,
like oh my
seriously.
god,
dude, get that person to the United States of America government so he can get some freaking negotiations going. Like,
what makes you think he's 80 years old? That's the only people they have.
Yeah, okay.
That's what.
That's insane.
I have no idea who you're referencing there, Sean.
Oh, just a couple of them. I don't know.
Yeah, he goes.
There's a few of those 80-year-olds in the government, but that's totally a different story.
That's insane to me, dude.
Who wins the deal? Low key, the Warriors won that deal. Is that a hot take, bro?
No, actually, I think Kyle Anderson and Buddy Hield.
Kyle Anderson could be a 6th man still, or a 7th man, and so then
Buddy Hield. Do you know that
Hield?
I think I saw some post that like Buddy Hield has hit more 3-pointers in the past 2 years or year than
something like that.
Stephen Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he's been known as a shooter his whole career. That's kind of been his thing. He kind of. I mean, it's kind of corny how everyone's trying to call him the next Splash Brother because that was kind of like an era thing, I feel like. But he really kind of is that same archetype as a player. His main goal is shooting. So I think they replaced their shooter with a shooter. And, I mean, Klay Thompson's getting older, and Buddy is not that old. So I think it's a good sign, man. It makes sense.
100%. I totally agree with you, man. Like that trade, I would say the joke would be that the 76ers won it 2031. So excited for that year. But the Warriors definitely got the better deal on this end. I think that like the interesting part is Klay Thompson's gone, right? Now you have another shooter, like you said, Buddy Hield, but he can also freaking drive in the ball. I think he's a little bit more better playmaker, and also he can be a ball dominant if he needs to. But then you're also like, come on, man, Kyle Anderson's a shooter too. Like he also can get his bucket. So if you can get him, because you've already replaced the shooter with a shooter, but now you're also getting some extra assets. Like that's huge. So I think definitely I'm on board with you that the Warriors definitely won this battle and this trades of like 6 million teams being involved. So.
Well, you know, the other thing too is that Clay is not out of the news cycle at this point. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I know that I think we all kind of saw it in his last season that he was not happy with the Warriors towards the end, and I guess like it came out that he felt severely disrespected in his final season because him and his camp were trying to make a deal, but that it was stated that the Warriors would not offer him more than a 2-year deal when they offered Draymond a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we can sit here and debate all day who's more important to that team, obviously Steph, but Clay or Draymond. Mm-hmm. And then apparently there was like a 2-year, $20 million deal that Clay's camp offered up to the Warriors, and they said, okay, that sounds all right, but we have to wait for other moves to happen. So I mean, I don't know. For the Warriors to do that to Clay, I do think is kind of bullshit. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
and it's like, what does the guy have to do in order for him to like get a contract? You should know he's been part of that dynasty that you guys built. Without, I honestly don't think without Clay that you would have had, the thriving um, Steph Curry. Like,
Right.
call me bullshit on it, but like, I really don't think they like fed off of each other, and you would have never had the Splash Bros without having freaking Klay Thompson there. So I mean, it's a huge thing, especially when you're like, well, let's wait and see if we can get other players before we get you. Like that just does not make sense to me. And so at the end of the day, I think this is a big, big loss for the Warriors, but also a big opportunity for Clay to go and destroy things with that duo they already have. I think that's the part we also need to talk about is how deadly that team's going to be now. Like they were able to do what they did with just the duo of Kyrie and Luca. Now you add another 3-point shooter who can get you 20 plus points every night. Yeah, like come on now. Dallas is making moves and they're ready to win now. So
Yeah. Um, I I honestly like at first I was kind of like it's kind of weird for Clay to feel disrespected and everything, but the more I think about it, especially with like the consideration of Draymond getting that 4 year deal,
mhm.
I would say you could easily say Draymond and Clay are about equal to that dynasty
Yep.
behind Steph, right? It's like they were
Yeah.
kind of that trio that was getting it done no matter what.
Yep.
KD was in there as well. Not talking about KD in this moment. Clay was very important.
We
So is
can.
Draymond.
No, no,
Draymond
no,
in the
no, no,
last,
Feist, that's okay. No, that's fine.
Okay.
I feel like Draymond has been had more issues and
Problems.
and stuff, and so for them to pick Draymond over
Yeah.
Clay at this point, considering they were equal in the dynasty, realistically, I understand it a little bit. Draymond's been nothing but trouble for 2 years straight now.
Yep.
They gave away Jordan Poole, who was, I mean, a young third Splash brother. They were saying early on helps them win a championship again. I mean, Jordan Poole was he was playing really good for them that season when they won that 20 in 22.
Yeah.
So I do understand why he feel disrespected, and I don't blame him for looking for a new opportunity somewhere that's made it to the finals this year. By the way, I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
he's gonna make a difference on that team. He still can shoot, and yeah, it's uh, I don't blame Clay, and I think it's gonna be good for him. A new opportunity, give him a chance, and I think it's good for the Warriors. They get a little reset with all the troubles they've been having the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
I think it works all around.
Yeah, definitely. And keeping on the Warriors train, let's just get into it, Sean. I I don't know what you've been hearing, okay? I've been hearing different shit every single day, but Laurie Marketing is either guaranteed to be traded by tomorrow or someone's gonna die or he's not going to be traded. I swear, every single day there's like something new. It's either Laurie's definitely going to be traded or he's not. I but like
Who
yesterday
knows?
before we recorded this podcast, there was a 10% chance that Laurie gets traded.
Yep.
Today, he's definitely going to be traded. So I'll just go through and then let you guys react. But the goal, like I said, speaking of the Warriors, they are heavily invested in Laurie, and I think we talked about that. Feist, I think you might have mentioned it that he would be a really good pairing with Steph Curry.
Stuff.
Just
Yeah.
that big and everything, and the pick and pop, pick and roll, like you were saying.
Yep.
But they're not the only team. The Kings made a substantial offer. Warriors have made a substantial offer, and then the Spurs and apparently the Miami Heat are also very interested in Lowry. Now, I'll just say this. I do not want them to get rid of Lowry. Like, I think he's good enough to, build upon. I mean, we're already in the rebuilding phase. Why do we have to get rid of a star? Let's already use all the picks, all the young guys that we have to build around Lowry.
Mhm.
But don't know. Maybe if it's a big enough trade, maybe. But what does that even mean? Does it have to be? I mean, Mikal Bridges got traded for what, 6 first-round picks total? I think it was.
Yeah,
So I mean,
unprotected. Yeah, for sure.
I need a deal like that if I'm going to get rid of Lowry. So that's my
Yeah.
spiel. Go ahead.
I think that it's weird because I understand the Jazz starting to listen to offers probably, and I think that's probably what it is, right? If they're going to listen to offers, if they're willing to offer something that you can't say no to, I mean, fine. I think I would understand it at that point because the Jazz are in this position right now where all of the big names in the free agency are basically gone.
Yeah.
The Jazz didn't capitalize on anything. It makes sense for them to accept if they get a crazy offer for him, but also at the same time, Laurie seems incredibly happy in Utah, and if he's willing to wait, there's no reason to get rid of him. So I think that's why it's kind of back and forth so much, because it makes sense to move him for a great deal, but do any of these teams have a great deal for him? It seems like not, because I think they would have done it already if they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like it just hasn't happened. Why do we keep hearing, the
back and forth all week?
Spurs were so close. The Warriors were so close. The Kings were so close to getting Larry, but
and now, I mean, with them signing DeMar in Sacramento, I feel like it's not going to happen with them anymore. I feel like the Warriors are probably the only team that would really push for it, and I don't think they have the assets to make it happen. So I'm not too worried about it, and I hope that Laurie does stay in Utah, because I really like him, and they could definitely build around him, like you were saying. So I guess we'll see. What do you think, Feist?
Something I don't get that Utah Jazz does is they build up superstars, or they build up stars, and they just trade them away. They let them walk away.
Why would you even say that, dude? Oh my!
I don't get it.
You're pissing me off.
I don't get it, boys. I'm sorry. Let that one hurt. Me off. Let this one hurt, my boy.
Was it the Paul George comment? Oh my god, man. I'm just joking.
No, let this one hurt, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Why are you building up stars and then trading them away every single time? Why wouldn't you? So the OKC did this, right? They did it with Shea. They literally built their whole team around Shea. They gave him a big contract, said, "You are our guy. Let's build the team around you." They drafted Jalen Jett. He's a freaking great freaking player. Next couple years, he could be an all-star. Just depending on how he develops. Jalen, they've built this whole team around Shea, right? And so why couldn't they do that? You've already picked up some good players this year. Why is it that every year you're having to restart, right? Every year, every couple years, you're like, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's restart. Well, if it's not working, give it time. Nothing works overnight. Nothing works over a season. And so, it pisses me off, because, I know I give you guys shit and I give Jazz fans shit, but, this is my home team, too. I still support it. I love going to games. And it's exciting to see them winning. And it's exciting to go watch games and not be bored, where the Jazz are going to get blown out. So it's why did I even come to this, even if it was a free ticket or not, So it pisses me off that every few years it's hey, let's go ahead and let's hit that restart button. No, your marketing is your guy. Give him time and start building around him. And then, like you said, I think the team that I think that has a chance are the Warriors, and I believe the Heat do. The Heat do have the package to send to Utah, because they can send in players with it. You could get, what's his name?
Kuminga, maybe.
Well,
I would take Kuminga. I feel like the only way that they would get an offer that the Jazz want to take, because they don't have enough first round picks right now. No, from what I've seen.
But the Heat do. That's what the Heat's the one I was they can make it happen, because they can send you role players that you could have to develop. But they've already developed. Tyler Hero's the prime example
of it.
Bring the
white boy to Utah, yeah.
It just...
They fit in!
Fit in. But it just doesn't make sense to me, right? Like I think that the one that makes sense playing wise is the Warriors because that pick and pop. Like him and
Dude,
Steph could be very very deadly together.
he
The
would
one
be.
team that has the assets, the Heat probably have the assets. Now the Spurs, no, that one just doesn't make sense because they already have their franchise guy. The aliens already taken that and it's already started populating more aliens over there. So like it just doesn't make sense over there. But
Yeah.
come on, Jess, just keep your guy, give him time, especially if he's happy to be here. Like I remember freaking when Mitchell was here, like he would go to barbecues, like he would go hang out with the fans, like he wanted to be here, and then all of a sudden, let's restart. Like come on, we got to do something to start bringing stars here and to
Yeah.
start growing this. Now you've got another professional team here. Like this economy is gonna grow, this market is gonna grow. Let's capitalize it so you can build that instead of freaking giving away stars every year. That's my soapbox. I'm like, it pisses me off.
You got
I
anything
feel
for
that.
that, Sean? Or
I mean, I definitely agree. I feel like the Jazz were like they kind of felt like they did hit a wall. I feel like that was a big reason. But
Yeah,
I mean, but what you're saying is true. Donovan seemed to really like it here. Rudy, if anything, liked it more. Um, it's hard to find guys that want to be in Utah.
yep,
It's hard, and that's why nothing happened this offseason. Danny Ainge was supposedly looking for that guy. No
big
deals were made.
market hunking
Yeah,
or hunting? What
big
is it
game,
called?
big game
Big
hunting
game,
is
yeah,
what they were
big
saying.
game
That
hunting.
was the buzzword, but they couldn't make anything happen.
Okay.
Nobody wants to come here. Laurie wants to be here. I agree. I think unless you are given an offer that you cannot deny,
yep.
keep that man here. That's so true.
100%. Hey, that's a hell of a way to end it off. Thank you, boys, for joining us again. Man, this NBA offseason is freaking still kicking, man, still going. So thank you guys for joining us. As always, make sure to give us a like, follow, comment, and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. And yeah, thank you, boys, for joining us. We'll see you guys later.